Welcome. Sorry, there's a little bit of delay, and let me know if you can hear me, please, if you're out there. I was having some technical difficulties getting set up. My mic wasn't working, the video capture wasn't working. I think it's working now, so somebody please let me know. That way I know we're good to go here, and I will get into things. So if you have any questions you want me to cover, just put them in the comments now, and I will address that afterwards. But first, I want to talk about some other things. I want to talk about kind of body image and some of the things that I notice, and some mistakes that a lot of people make, and try to help create hopefully a better relationship with body and food as a whole. And thank you, Derek. And I'll go over your questions after the initial topic here, and glad to know that you guys can hear me. So hold on, something's off there. There we go. All right, let me get into it here. But first, let me know where you're watching from, and hopefully you're having a good morning or afternoon or evening, wherever you're at. And what I want to talk about with like the body image side of things, and a lot of people struggle with, okay, I'm not quite where I want to be yet, and I'm uncomfortable with where I am, but maybe you're not in a great spot with your metabolism, lots of yo-yo dieting, and you should probably do a reverse. But I often hear, well, maybe I should do a small cut so I can feel better about myself before I jump into the reverse. And I want to talk about why that is not a good way to look at things and can really set you up for a lot of struggles, not even just like with your metabolism and your results, but also psychologically speaking as well. Because if it requires you to drop body fat to feel better about yourself, that means that there's definitely some mental problems that you're having with body image. And it doesn't mean that we should never try to make improvements, and absolutely there can be a lot of value in that. I'm not saying that it can't be a key part of your happiness and well-being and all that type of stuff, but it can't be everything. And what I want you to understand is it's actually much more valuable to not cut when you're not feeling so great about yourself, and feel okay about yourself at any size without placing self-worth on your body. And you have to understand that you're never going to fix body image problems by getting a better body. Like, it really isn't going to be that way. You're actually, like, when it comes to actual happiness, a lot of people are actually more happy with maybe a bit more body fat than they want, but a healthy relationship with food, relationship with their body, better flexibility in their diet, not stressing out all the time, feeling good, having more energy. And, I've actually noticed a pretty dang high correlation between the more in shape people are, the worse they struggle with body image. And I know so many people feel like, if all these people that are in great shape, they're so happy, and they must be so happy with their body, and just like must be so amazing. But man, I see it time and time again. It's like the more in shape somebody is, the more they pick themselves apart and feel like the things are much worse than they are, and they're so terrified of gaining any amount of weight. And it's just because you improve your body composition doesn't mean now your body image issues are fixed. And a lot of times it actually goes the opposite direction. And the other problem of saying like, okay, like I need to cut to feel better about myself is you're basically now saying that you don't deserve to be happy unless you have less body fat, right? Unless you're leaner. And boy, is that a real trap, right? Like, you deserve to be happy the way you are now. It doesn't mean you don't want to make improvements, and like I said, there's a lot of value in that. But the bottom line is, you're so much better off taking the time now to get into a better spot with your relationship with food and body to be able to get where you want to be. One of the things I see all the time in my client applications, I have a spot for long-term goals and short-term goals. And time again, it says short-term goal, lose weight, get in better shape, feel better about myself, be more comfortable in my body, etc. And then long-term goal, it says create a better relationship with food, better relationship with my body, etc., etc. And if you think about it, it's pretty much completely backwards, really, because especially if you've always struggled for years with yo-yo dieting, on again, off again, unhealthy relationship with food, looking at it good versus bad, binging behavior, this and that. you're really not going to be able to get the result until you get that fixed, right? Because otherwise you're just going to keep falling into the same patterns of the yo-yo dieting and the stressing out of feeling like you need to be perfect and always on plan. And you're going to be so much better off not only mentally to work first on, okay, let's start working calories up, let's get your hunger hormones back into a better place, hormonally as a whole, metabolically, into a really good position. Now mentally, you've created this good relationship with food, so you don't feel like you have to binge and you don't feel like you're doing something wrong or feel bad or guilty for eating foods you enjoy, which makes it much easier when you do cut down the road to not go way off plan, because you've taken that time. But also you're going to be in a way better spot with your metabolism. You're going to have built some muscle. You're going to ensure that you're in a much better place to actually see the result, because if you have been on and off a lot, it's going to be a struggle just to even lose weight to begin with if you're not in a good place. So it's just like really slowing down, playing that long game, not putting so much pressure on yourself to always feel like you have to be leaner. I know it's society, it's the way we've all been taught, unfortunately, and it's a hard thing to kind of let go of, but it's so important for your overall happiness. And it's kind of ironic because in order to get better results, like, it's actually more about what you do when you're not dieting than you do when you are dieting. And taking the time to set yourself up is key. And again, don't get me wrong, like, a better body is not a bad thing to go after. Like, I think it's fantastic to do these things, and you can build a lot of confidence from it. It can absolutely be a part of your happiness, but it can't be everything, and it can't be what defines you as who you are, and it's kind of crazy when you really think about it, like how much pressure that you put on your body and worrying about what other people think of it, compared to how little anybody actually cares. And that's not you specifically, that's like everybody. Almost, and I would argue pretty much nobody in the world actually cares about what kind of shape your body's in. But so many people spend their whole lives just, stressing out about it and, being miserable all the time, always worrying all the time, get to the end of their life and they never even lived their life, and they just spent the whole time stressing and worrying for something that nobody even cares about. And I think a lot of times it just comes not even necessarily from others or worrying about others, but just the over judgment of yourself. That's the real killer. When you constantly judge yourself and pick yourself apart, you're just going to really put yourself in a bad place. And it's kind of crazy when you think about it too, because, we're all our own worst enemy. I get it. But, you can, if you would just like treat yourself the way you treat other people, you'd be so much better off. You can take somebody who's like, let's say you're 5'4" and 140 pounds, and you just are like, I'm so fat, like I just hate this, I'm so overweight and I'm ashamed of myself. But then you'll see somebody else, and I'll see this even in my my coaching group on Facebook, where people support each other so much, and it's a great community. But then they'll take, like, somebody else will post on there, and they're 5'4" and 200 pounds, and they've lost some weight, and they're celebrating their progress like they should. And then you say to that person, "You look so amazing. You're doing so great. That's fantastic." And it's like, well, why aren't you then, if you're in better shape than they are? You know what I mean? It's just, we're so attached to ourselves, and getting out of your own head and all that is going to be critical. And it all starts with not judging yourself so harshly. It has to stop. Don't do that to yourself. So anyways, let me see if there was anything else I wanted to cover. And if you have any questions, leave them in there. Looks like I still only have the one so far. Yeah, I think that was most of it. So, if you have struggled with this stuff, just know, like, you're far from alone. So many people struggle with this. It's very, very common. And I truly believe in the video that I have coming out next week, we'll go more into detail about this. But it really is the mental side of things that keeps you from seeing the results you want. It's almost never the physical of what to do. The physical of what to do is such a small percentage compared to the mental side of things, because it's like, it doesn't matter what you do if you keep quitting because you get too frustrated or you get too impatient and you're constantly doubting yourself and and worrying about every little thing and all over the place because you can't detach your emotions. And if that is something you struggle with, I'd highly recommend trying to get help with it, because otherwise, if you can't get out of your own head, then you're really gonna just continue to struggle. And especially if it's something that you've struggled with your whole life, we want to change things, and that's a big part of what I do. So if you are interested, in getting help with that and getting to the next level, I do recommend, obviously, signing up for online coaching. Just head to my website, ColinDeWaayTraining.com. I actually have a link, a direct link to the application page in this video if you want. Otherwise, just come down here to sign up. Comes with a 30-day money-back guarantee. Means you can try it out, see if you like it. If you don't, you're not owed any money. So it does come with that guarantee. Then just fill out that application. I will shoot a video going over it, and I will email it to you within 24 hours. If you do not see a response in your email within 24 hours, check your spam. It will be in there, because I'm very good about getting back quickly to applications and my clients as a whole. So, just let me know if you have any questions on that. So let's get into things here. And if you do have other questions, let's put them in here and I'll go over it. I only got, I think, 2 pre-questions plus Derek's questions here, which I haven't read yet. And if it ends up being short, it ends up being short, but hopefully we'll get some more coming in here. First, coffee. All right, let's see. So, struggling with hunger after falling asleep, even with shifting my meals to night, the higher protein fat meal, dinner, and even eating dinner just before bed. I wake up 1 hour before falling asleep. Being very hungry, tired, melatonin, 900 calorie dinners. I'm always waking up hungry. This is my only issue. Rest of the day, I'm on track. I'm eating plenty. Can you offer suggestions? And some stats here. So this is something that's no, it's not off topic at all. No, like not even remotely off topic. This is a big struggle for some people, and I wish I had like a magical answer. I definitely don't. I don't know. Are you well before? Like, have you lost a lot of weight, Derek? Or are you in a longer diet where you've lost a lot of weight and now you're well below your body fat set point? Or is this something that you've kind of just started and you're already struggling with it? Because if it's later in the diet and you've lost a lot of weight, then this is much more common and much more to be expected. But you're already doing the majority of what I would recommend, and that is saving more calories for later in the day, right before bed. I don't know. You said dinners. 210. Yeah, I mean, eating plenty of food in general, although of course it always depends. That's a high and low calorie is very individual. But if you're eating dinner and that's your last meal and then you're staying up for a long time, that could be part of it. So like for me personally, I'm always hungriest later at night. Like I just always have been. And no matter whether I'm cutting or maintaining or building or whatever else, I save a huge percentage of my calories for basically right before bed. And I have some of the same issues. And so I'll eat like I don't eat breakfast. I'm not hungry in the morning. I'll eat a smaller lunch, a more moderate dinner, and then a giant meal at like 9, 10 o'clock just before bed. And this really helps me significantly. So if you're not doing that, might be a way to go. And even if those last 2 dinners are kind of like squished together a little bit, like even just a couple hours apart, because that happens to me a lot. Like I'll eat dinner and then a couple hours later I'm freaking hungry as hell. But then if I eat the rest of my calories, I'll be good. I wish I had a better solution for you as to what you can possibly do. I mean, one thing you could do, I mean, if you're really struggling with it, you could leave like a protein shake right next to your bed. And, if it's something that's consistent, you could just add that extra protein to your numbers. I mean, protein is like, it's practically impossible to lose or to store as body fat. So you could leave that next to your bed. If you wake up super hungry, slam that down, and hopefully that will help. And like I said, it's all protein, so the chances of that putting you over and being a problem are unlikely. I've done some videos before about some different research showing that going over your protein didn't lead to any extra body fat gain, including one where they were averaging 800 more calories per day through protein and didn't see any more body fat. Protein has such a high thermic effect of food, so that would be an option that might be helpful for you. But I see response here, and I think this is the problem right here. You're down 45 pounds over 3 months, which is fantastic, and congrats. But unfortunately, you're way below your body fat set point, and your body hates that. It wants you to gain the weight back. So unfortunately, the solution is going to be continuing. Are you in a reverse, did you say? Now losing half a pound, so you're still in a deficit, and it's been 30 months. So that's a very long time and a lot of weight, and your body's just fighting you. It's fantastic that you're able to eat so much and still be losing, but it might be time to say, okay, like it's time to start a reverse and start getting calories back up, start getting your hunger hormones back into a better place, start recovering, and give your body time. It's not going to solve the problem right away. In fact, if anything, you're probably going to be even more hungry when you start, but over time, it will help. And it's just going to take time for your body to realize that this is like the new normal, right? So like, obviously you're probably, I shouldn't say obviously, but you're most likely going to want to roughly maintain this. I would imagine, especially since you're still trying to lose, but you just can't diet forever. And having been at it for 2.5 years, basically at this point, that's just a lot on the body, and your body's mad at you right now, for lack of a better term. And I really suggest, okay, start working them back up, and take your time, and just know that it's going to be this way for a while. I can't say how long, but probably a pretty long time, unfortunately. But keep fighting it, and over time it will improve as your body gets used to this new normal. And if you want to lose more, save it for down the road. Take it in phases. Don't get too caught up in, like, I have to get there now. I have to get there now. Like, you got your whole life ahead of you. You've done amazing, but man, it's time for, I'm sure if no other reason, you could use the mental break too, of not feeling like you need to. And hey, we're in August now. You got the holiday season coming up in a few months. Like, now's a good time to start getting those calories up and get into a better spot hormonally, metabolically, hunger in a better place by then. Much more flexibility through that time, just kind of an added benefit. But unfortunately, I don't have a great solution for now, other than to tell you that don't feel bad. It's normal. It doesn't make it more fun, but it's just it's a challenge for sure. And you could try adding more protein, maybe. Maybe right before bed, eat like a whole other serving of protein and see if that helps. Because like I said, it's pretty safe, and you could start your reverse that way too, like through tons of protein. Hopefully it gets better for you though. Sorry, I don't have a better answer. Went on vacation, wore a bikini, and felt amazing. I love that, Kim. Nobody ever cares. That's one of the best realizations that you can ever possibly have. It's like when you go to the beach and stuff, like we're always so nervous about it. We don't want to take our shirt off or wear a bikini or whatever else because everyone's going to judge us. And it's like, nobody cares. Like, literally nobody. Everyone's so worried about what everyone thinks of themselves that they're not paying attention to anyone else, right? And the people that do care about you, that are there with you, your friends and family, they just care about you and who you are as a person and the way that you treat them and everything else. And your shape is the last thing that they care about. Like, they don't even remotely. Plus, how much better is your life when you let go of that and just choose to live it? Like, there's been a bit of a trend going on lately, which I've loved, and that is how to get a bikini body. Step 1, put on bikini. Step 2, go to the beach. Right? Like, doesn't matter what shape you're in. And you hear that all the time, like, well, I need to lose weight so I can get in a bikini. Oh, you can absolutely get in a bikini right now. There's a lot of power to that, to not feel like you have to be in a certain shape to do that. I mean, we do what we do because we want to be happy, but at the end of the day, it's not usually the result that's going to be the thing that makes us happy. It's the other stuff. And I love to hear that. And anyways, I love it. Yep. Awesome. Hey Dan, thank you. Will you still see progress if you were in a deficit for 2 weeks and then go to maintenance for 2 weeks? So that's it, not so difficult mentally. Absolutely. That's actually if you've seen my videos talking about diet breaks, the the study that I talk about the most is called I think it's called the Matador study, if I remember right. And that's exactly what they did. They did 2 weeks of dieting, 2 weeks of maintenance, and repeated that. And that study showed that for the dieting period, which was 16 weeks, but consider the total time was 30 weeks because it's 16 with 2 week breaks. But they compared that to 16 weeks of straight dieting, and the diet break group actually lost I can't remember the exact numbers, but it was almost like half, like 45% more fat, had preserved lean more body mass, had a better resting metabolic rate, regained less weight post diet, like all the great things, right? And this is exactly what they did. So it's certainly a strategy that can be used. It's not the strategy. There is no the strategy. There's practically an infinite amount of ways to do this stuff. But it's just it depends on your personality, kind of, and what's more sustainable to you. For some people, taking all these frequent breaks, it's great because, like you said, it doesn't feel so difficult mentally. You get a lot of breaks from things, and it's kind of like sometimes people go man, it doesn't even feel like I'm dieting because it's just so infrequent. I love it. For other people, because it makes the process take so much longer, that makes them struggle, and they're much better, getting in, hitting it, staying in there, and getting out. But also at the same time, it depends how long you have to go, how much weight you have to lose, and how your body's responding, and all that stuff. But it's certainly a viable strategy and something I use with some people too. I find it to be a good strategy for people who have highly adaptive metabolisms, who need to get down to pretty low calories and kind of struggle to lose. A lot of times, sometimes we're more extreme cases of maybe PCOS and stuff. Not always, but for those types of people where their body tends to fight pretty early in the process and makes it harder to lose, taking more frequent breaks can help kind of keep the body from guarding against fat loss so much and keep the process working better. So that can be a good strategy for that kind of person as well. But the big thing to me is just the psychological component. If it works for you psychologically and you like it better, perfect. If not, then you don't need to. And I do recommend taking some diet breaks regardless. And actually, one of the pre-questions that I have is about that, so I'll wait to get to that. But definitely doable. Hey, Carla. It depends on what you're doing. So just fill out an application, Mason, and I'll shoot that video to get back to you, and I'll talk about pricing based on what you're looking for on your application, because it just depends. All right, nothing else. So I've got 2 questions lined up. If you have anything else you want me to cover, please leave the comments now, and I'll go over those. Before I do that, if you're not following me on Instagram, let's do it. Colin DeWaay, follow me, and I'll keep you updated. All right, so let me blow this up a little bit. All right, been on 7 weeks of a calorie deficit, 1,700 calories, maintenance around 2,100, steadily losing weight, no plateaus yet, feel good, don't feel like I want to eat more. That's fantastic. Before I started, I thought I was going to need a diet break or refeed, but now I haven't incorporated either one. Should I wait until I hit a plateau and feel like I need one in order to mentally keep going, or should I take a diet break or refeed days to be proactive? Thanks for all your videos. You're very welcome. And been reverse dieting for 6 months prior. Awesome. Especially the sustainable part. This is it right here. Take note, everyone else. Sustainable, long-term thinking. It's freaking everything. Everything. Anyways, Yasmin. So I do recommend still taking some diet breaks. And actually, I do recommend a normal refeed approach every week. Even if you equate calories, I still recommend it. You don't have to. And it depends too on your own personality and what you like. But what I used to do a long time ago, I got away from this thinking, years ago at this point now, but it used to be just that. I'd be like, okay, look, let's just keep dieting. And once you start to feel more run down or more food focused and really hungry, or you can't lose weight anymore, then we'll take a diet break and then come back and maybe adjust from there. But now I'm finding there's so much more value in making sure that you at least take some diet breaks to keep you in a good spot. Not only for your metabolism and everything, for the long-term results, because the better you can keep your metabolism in a good place, the better the process is going to work in the long run. But also, it's like, why wait until you feel like hot garbage to make a change, right? Like if we can avoid you even getting to that point for the most part, that's so much better. Not only just because it sucks to feel that way, but also because a lot of people, if they wait until they get to that point, they can overdo it a lot, right? So like if you wait until, okay, now I'm starving and really run down and agitated and frustrated and things like that, you're much more likely to start having maybe some binging behavior, some overeating patterns, and getting into effort mode, which will then only set you back. Whereas if we can just keep you in a good place because you take more frequent diet breaks and you don't get to that point, you're going to stick to the plan better and things are going to go better as a whole. So there's no one hard, steadfast rule. One thing I frequently say is I do recommend diet breaks roughly every 4 to 6 weeks or so, but again, it also depends on how far you have to go. I mean, if you have a lot of weight to lose and things are going well, we'll extend it, maybe even 8-10 weeks if things are going great and you're feeling good. But at some point, I do recommend, taking a 2-week diet break. And I don't always say 2 weeks. I shouldn't say that. I never always do anything. But I frequently recommend taking 2-week breaks. I just find that people respond so much better coming back from a 2-week break than a 1-week break. And there's even kind of sort of some research to support that in a way. I mean, we don't really know for sure, but the 2-week on, 2-week off approach that I talked about, there was another diet break study that looked at 3 weeks of dieting with 1 week of diet break, and it really showed no metabolic advantage for the most part. It did show advantages in being less hungry and things like that, so there was still value to it, but it didn't seem to have a metabolic advantage the way the other one did. So you could hypothesize that maybe there's something about 2 weeks versus just 1 week that really helps kind of reset things and put you into a good place. But the other thing about that, the 3-week 1 week approach, was that it was in leaner individuals, so people were already pretty lean that were losing, versus the 2-week on, 2-week off approach was in obese individuals. So maybe there's something about athletes versus obese people. Maybe there's something about 3 weeks versus 1 week. All I'm saying is, in my experience as a coach, I've noticed time and time again, coming back from 2 weeks goes much better than just 1 week. So it always comes down to time frame, preferences, and all that type of stuff, and everybody responds differently. But if you can get away with 2 weeks and do it, I do recommend it. And I also recommend, if you take a break, you should never expect this, but it does happen probably more frequently than you think, and that is continuing to lose when you take your diet break. So you take the diet break and the weight just keeps coming down. It's like, whoa, holy crap, like how is this happening? And there's a lot of reasons why that can happen. We won't get into that in this video, but if that happens, then just keep it going, right? Like if you keep losing with the higher calories, just stay with them, because the longer you're on those higher calories, you're going to be better. The longer you're on the higher calories, the better off you're going to be. And then once that stops happening, then you can come back down to your cutting calories again, and get the process working, and it just keeps you in a really good spot. So and then with the refeed side of things, and this comes down to like what I would consider to be the most optimal way to do things, but understand there's a big difference between optimal and what needs to be done to get a good result, right? And the difference can literally just be a few percent, right? Like optimal means you do every little tiny thing that is humanly possible to get the best results, but if you can still get like 98% of the results by something that is more sustainable to you, well then do the 98% that's more sustainable, right? So what I mean by that is I do recommend a double refeed approach after the first week or two of dieting at least, and utilizing that, because there's been research that shows that's when the double refeed over a single refeed is when has been shown to have some hormonal and metabolic benefits. Whereas a single day, it still has like mental benefits. You still improve glycogen storage and things like that, but it doesn't seem to have the hormonal benefits that a double, so when I say double, like consecutive days of refeeds can have. And it's been shown even when on calories equated. So there was one study where they had one group either do a 25% calorie deficit every single day, and another group did, I believe it was 35% calorie deficit 5 days a week, and then 2 days a week at maintenance, which was the same calorie deficit as a whole for the week. But the group that had the double refeeds I think they lost the same amount of weight, but the double refeed group lost more body fat and retained more lean body mass, so AKA got better results, right? It's not just about the number on the scale. So even if you keep the calories the same, so like you're on 1700, let's just say, for instance, without doing the math, let's just say you took 100 calories away, so you ate 1600 calories and then gave those extra calories to 2 days a week. That's just random. Don't run with that. And I do have videos about how to set up refeeds. If you just look up Colin DeWaay how to refeed or something like that, it'll pop up. But even if you have the calories equated, it still could have better benefit. But some people respond really well to refeeds, other people not so much. But if things are going really well too, you can always just add it on top. I'm not saying you have to do it that way. You could take the 1700 calories and then just eat the 2000 or 2100 calories 2 days a week, and that's going to have better benefits for you metabolically speaking. It's just going to possibly slow down the results a little bit, which isn't necessarily a terrible thing depending on your pace as well. So that was my very long-winded answer, but that's okay because I still have other questions. Slow day today. All right, one more, and I can't get to it, so let me hide myself. How do I do that? All right. While reverse dieting, I track my calories on an app, and I also track my exercise. The app adjusts my allowed calorie intake for the day and adds calories burned during the exercise. Yeah, so should I stick to my original or eat more? Do not eat more. Don't eat calories back. That is just terrible advice. I hate that MyFitnessPal does that, or all the other apps. It's completely backwards. So, I mean, especially when it comes to cardio, you're using that extra cardio to create some more calorie burn to help create the deficit. So if you do that and then eat that back, now you've just completely undone that. So it's absolutely zero use for your deficit, right? So although you did, I should clarify, because you did say in a reverse. So maybe that's where you're asking. I still recommend just keeping things the same, and like you just keep your exercise consistent and your nutrition consistent, and then you adjust based on that. And keep in mind too, the calories burned from exercise are highly inaccurate. Whether it's a online calculator or even just like there's all these like super expensive watches and stuff you can buy now where you put in all your information and it spits it out, but they're really inaccurate. There's been research that's shown that they can be up to 85% off. So the calories you burn from your exercise that you see, it could be completely different. So there's still value in tracking that stuff to see like, okay, like is my activity levels normal? Am I doing more or less than usual? The mental benefits, sometimes just having that you're watching, it helps you be more active and things like that. But to get an actual calorie burn amount is a mistake in my mind. And just be consistent with your nutrition, and don't eat back the calories burned from exercising. So looks like that's pretty much it. How many people are on here today? I'll wait a minute or two if anybody has anything else. Where did it go? Sorry, I lost my my live screen. You're welcome. Thank you, April. That's very nice and means a lot to me. I really appreciate the super chat, or whatever you call it. Yeah, super chat. Okay, L. No problem. I will wait. Let me see if there's anything else I want to talk about. Yeah, I'll just wait. I'll just wait for L. In the meantime, again, as a reminder, if you're interested in online coaching, head to my website, ColinDeWaayTraining.com, and fill out the application. And I will get back to you with details, kind of not only talking about, okay, what would your investment be based on your application, but also, what I'm kind of seeing from the information you're giving me, if, what kind of direction I think would make the most sense, kind of give you some details on that and talk about everything. And then again, I'll email you back. And if you don't see a response within 24 hours, check your spam folder as it quite frequently goes in there, unfortunately. All right, let's see. If I'm trying to build muscle, eating just 100 to 200 calories above maintenance, if I start losing weight, I should just up my calories again, right? Yes. Yep. So if you're losing, it just means that you're still in a deficit, and especially if you're coming from a calorie deficit to begin with and you started the process, sometimes when you start adding calories back in, it's like everything starts to upregulate and ramp up. So your metabolism starts to speed up, your hunger hormones, not your hunger hormones, well, they do improve, but that's not what I was getting at. But your hormones do improve, your energy levels start to improve, you start to recover better, you feel better. A lot of times you just start being more active without even realizing it, which therefore burns more calories, which can put you back into a deficit. So there's a lot of reasons why sometimes once you start bringing up calories, all of a sudden you may start losing, or especially if it's in the early stages of the reverse, maybe you're losing well and you start upping your calories, but you only up them a little bit. Well, then you're still in a calorie deficit because you haven't gotten up to your actual maintenance. But if you for whatever reason find yourself in a position where you are increasing your calories, but you keep losing, but you're trying to specifically be in a building phase, then you just keep increasing calories. And you can kind of take it like a reverse that just kind of turns into a bulk. I have a video called Reverse Dieting to Lean Bulk, I think. Yep, right here. So it's called Reverse Dieting to Lean Bulk, and it kind of takes you through the process of how to go through it. So when you end your cut to, okay, now you've got your calories back up to a better place, kind of rough maintenance, and then how that reverse kind of like transitions then into a lean bulk, and how to kind of keep increasing calories based on how the process is going. So that might be a useful video for you if you're struggling with that. But yeah, if you're trying to build and you're losing, then that's not going to help you optimally lose. But at the same time, there can be some benefit of that, right? Especially in the earlier stages, kind of lean out a little bit more before you get into the actual building phase. And at some point, no matter what, you'll get to a point where it is a calorie surplus for you. It's just sometimes it takes a while to get there. Cool. You're very welcome. All right, anything else? I guess I'll look at, I mentioned a refeed video that I did as well. It'd probably be easier to go from my studio. So how to refeed? Yep, there it is. So how to refeed during a cut. So if you want to know, whoever was asking about the refeed question, how I recommend doing a refeed approach, check out this video, how to refeed during a cut, and that will help. And if you ever if you're ever wondering about any type of topic at all and wishing that I had done a video on it, I probably have. Like I've done over 800 videos at this point, so there's not very much I haven't covered at this point. And so just type in my name, Colin DeWaay, 2 A's, 1 L, 2 A's, and whatever topic you're interested in, type it in, and something will probably come up. And if not, then leave me a comment on some video and say, hey, can you do a video on X and X topic? And if it's a good one, then I'll do it. I'm always looking for ideas. Once you've done 800 videos, it's kind of hard to come up with new ideas. I just kind of start recycling some old stuff and update it with, because my opinions on stuff change all the time, as well they should. You don't ever want to be stuck in your ways, so I'll update. But I'm always looking for new topics. Thank you so much, Kim. Happy to. This is what I love. I love doing this, and it truly is my pleasure. So I'm glad I'm able to help. All right, I think that must be about it. So I'm gonna wrap it up here. But as always, I mean, you know where to find me. If nothing else, just leave a comment on any random video of mine, or shoot a message on Instagram. If just make sure you're following me first, and shoot me a message if you want to keep it more private, and I'll answer you there. Until next time. All right, thanks. Let me see if I can find the end button. Have a good weekend.